Hey everybody, HMV here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we've got a fat little ship here. It is called the Evelander, kind of, and you'll find out why, probably not this episode, but sometime in the future. We're going to launch in 3, 2, 1, launch. Very simple ship. I'm not going to make you watch the launch. I will see you in space. Okay, we are cruising along here. We just ran out of fuel, but I am waiting until we're a little bit higher up in the atmosphere to kick off the heat shield here. And actually, we could just wait until space, I think. Let's go ahead and do that, because we've got an apoapsis in space. I built this ship a while ago. It's been a while since I've recorded, as you all know. But I've been building these ships. I have 3 of them going to Eve. And you see we got 73 days before our Eve window. I actually fast-forwarded the game about a year just to waste time. I've also filled up my Minmus orbiting station. Okay, we are ready to ditch these fairings here, so let's go ahead and do it. And, oh, look at this reveal. Here's the ugly ship that's going to land on Eve. It's going to do a lot more than that, though. This is going to get a lot of robotic readings from everywhere. And we're not going to take any readings from Kerbin or anything like that. We're going to take all of our readings from elsewhere. Now, I'm going to throttle down the engine here. We're going to ditch this because we don't need it anymore. We're also going to activate this engine because we do need it. And this guy, as crazy as he looks, is actually perfectly balanced. I also need to hit backspace, which doesn't open my solar panels. Let's go ahead and open those. He is perfectly balanced, so that just the reaction wheels in the probe core here, which are actually pretty awesome, are all that's needed to keep him perfectly straight. We're not going to do any of these readings because we're going to be doing them with the other ships, and then eventually bring them home for more science value. So I might as well not bother with the transmission now, because then the science alert won't alert me to them because I'm too lazy to change that. We've also got alternate resource panel, which I need. I've been fiddling around with everything here, and I've changed a lot of things here. I want to replace the stock toolbar. There we go. That's nice. I've also got Contracts Window Plus, which is awesome. It has a whole bunch of new features that I didn't even know about that were never part of the game, I should say, last time I played. And so I don't know what's going on with any of this. So I probably have things wrong. I also have this blocking my Delta V readouts, which is bad. But anyway, this guy is, yeah, we need to get him into orbit here. Tilt him up just a little bit so he doesn't pass his apoapsis. This guy's first job is to get to Minmus, where he is going to dock with the Minmus orbital station. And let's actually just turn that off right there so that we can control. I'm watching my apoapsis here, my timed apoapsis, and I'm tilting up when that gets too far. And we are in orbit now. Okay, we're ready to go to Minmus. Yeah, but this guy's going to dock with the Minmus station and fill up his tanks, and then he is heading off to Eve in 73 days, along with everybody else. We've got 3 ships to launch total. We've got this guy who's going to test my how long it takes to get to Minmus, so that we can figure out when to launch the ship that has life support on it in a Kerbal. And then we are going to then launch that ship at that time to get up to Minmus so that he can refuel and then directly just go to Eve without wasting too much life support. And then when the Eve window arrives, let's set this as our target. Now, there we go. When the Eve window arrives, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, but the 3rd ship's going to launch at the actual Eve transfer window time, because it is going to direct ascend from the surface of Kerbin all the way, and it's not going to stop burning until, ideally, an even counter appears, but we might need to do a mid-course correction or something like that. But anyway, this guy's got a maneuver here in 20 minutes. And I'm not sure why, but delete on close. Oh, I know what it is. We still got 50 seconds before we're going to start our burn. I've also removed Kerbal Engineer the windows, and I've made everything HUDs. I'm probably going to move my Delta V's down here, but I'm not 100% sure yet. If they're down here, they kind of get blocked sometimes by the ground, and they're hard to read. But generally, when you're near the ground, you don't need to know your delta V. So, maybe. Not sure. But, let's see, we got 30 seconds. Now, I tell you what, I'm going to wait until we actually start the burn. It's a minute-long burn. Sorry about the bleeps, but it's science alert. Okay, we are now thrusting away. We are going down here. Let's go ahead and settings. I had changed all these things. Let's see, specifics. Delete alarm when done. That's what I want to do. I'm going to change all these so the alarm gets deleted when done, because that's the way I prefer. Okay, very close here, and do we have a Minimus encounter yet? No. Now we do. Okay, let's focus our view on Minimus. If we burn a little bit more, when we get to here, I'm going to fix this, even though it's not very efficient. We've got the fuel. We've got 2 grand of Delta V. We could actually send this guy to Eve if we really wanted to, but I don't. So we're going to descending node fix this guy. But yeah, this guy actually, he's going to have a very storied flight because he's also going to complete some satellite contracts. He's actually going to Gilly, and he's going to orbit Gilly in 2 different ways, and then from Gilly go to Eve and land on Eve, utilizing the fact that these solar panels might burn off during re-entry, but this probe core has so much battery power that it should be able to make it all the way to the ground. That's the plan. He only has 1 parachute, but he shouldn't need very much because Eve's atmosphere is so big. Or thick, I should say. Done. We should have a very good orbit. Everything's freaking out. Let's actually check out Gilly. He is perfect as far as that's concerned. We might want to retrograde a bit. Right now, just to get him right like that. There we go. Now he can. He's going to be encountering this base, and that's all we need to do for now. So, tell you what, you've seen me dock with this base before. It's not a big deal. I am going to do all that, get him all set up around there, and then I'm going to fast forward to 73 days from now, and we're going to launch the ship that's actually coming up here. How long is this going to take, actually? 6 days to get here. You figure 6 days to get back. So we want to launch, actually it's almost 7 days. So 15 days, we'll say 20 days. I'm going to set an alarm for the other ship to launch 20 days before the Eve window. And then, I'll come back when we are launching that ship. Okay, we are 55 days away from the Kerbin Eve window. This is, presuming a, worst case scenario where we get to Minimus right as it's passing, the optimal time to go to launch for Eve, and we don't have time to dock and everything. And we have to wait an entire Minimus orbit to launch back to Eve. This is launching the latest possible to guarantee that no matter what happens at Minimus, we'll be able to launch. It's a pretty simple rocket. Tell you what, I'll launch it and I'll tell you what it's for. By the way, Desgard, you are going to be a permanent resident of Gilly when this is all done. Our thrust to weight is moderately high, not too bad, 1.5, which means I'm going to follow my standard gravity turn here. There is no decoupler between these. These actually run out at almost exactly the same time, which is pretty much perfect. Standard gravity turn is to go at 500, I go to 5 degrees. At 2,000, that's apoapsis height, I go here. At 6,000, I get to 15 degrees off of the total, which I've gotten to now, and then I turn the computer off and let aerodynamics do its thing. And this guy's pretty crazy. He's got a big bulbous front on him, so I'm a little concerned about aerodynamics. And I'm actually more than just a little concerned. And Desgard has no skills, so he can't turn on the computer. But not a big deal. We've lost our solids, and now we're losing those. So let's get rid of them. And now we have a very low thrust to weight. I think it might be below 1. No, it's 1.22. That's pretty good. And now let's just get to orbit. So this is going to be boring. I will see you when we're in orbit. Okay, we're not quite in orbit yet, but we are in space, so I'm going to ditch the fairings. And there is the ship in all its glory. And we're also going to ditch this decoupler and this decoupler, because this guy is completely out of fuel. And these guys still have fuel, yes. So we're going to get rid of those so that they'll fall back to Kerbin and who knows what, who cares. This ship is a bit crazy and a bit cool. He has a lot of features that I'll show you eventually. One of those features is 4 Gigantor solar panels for happiness on the surface of Gilly when we're drilling. It's also got 4 drills. It's got 3 of these so that he'll never run out of supplies. And we have enough supplies to last him 10 years. So even if we have trouble getting to Eve, we shouldn't have any trouble getting to Eve with the amount of fuel we have available. Also, all of his reaction wheels are off. And if you look here, I have set up, I think Action Group 0 enables all the reaction wheels, yes. I had them off for launch because this guy in my testing got really wobbly at launch. We also want to rotate him. I don't know why, but I always feel more comfortable when the ship is upright in orbit. I think it's just watching too much sci-fi growing up. Also, Desgard is in this bottom capsule here. We're going to transfer him up to the cupola, where he belongs, and then we'll check it out. Oh yeah, that's nice. The sun's up there. We got our thing. We got Kerbin down below us. He's got a nice view of what's going on. Now, if you're wondering what all this garbage is, this is for contracts. This mission was paid for by people who didn't read the fine print, and as soon as we complete those contracts, we're going to ditch this stuff. This has to get all the way into sun orbit, and as soon as it does, we can just ditch it all. This guy also has a large docking port here and a small docking port here for docking operations. Because Gilly's so small, I decided to make this the orbital station and the drilling station. So what he's going to do is he's going to land on Gilly, fill up all his tanks, and then launch back into orbit so that if somebody then comes, he can dock with them in orbit. Also, he has 2 big engines to do most of the maneuvering, and then 2 little engines to land on Gilly, and then 2 tiny engines to keep him pressed down on Gilly while he mines. I don't know if all that's needed, but we'll find out when we get to Gilly. But in the meantime, we're actually going to Minmus, so this is boring. I will, as usual, see you when we get to Minmus. Okay, we are coming in. We have we're on fumes. We got 305 meters per second left on our ship here. Luckily, we are only going 18 meters per second relative to the station, which means I'm not going to run out of fuel. But holy cow, I gotta start giving myself bigger margins. I don't know what my problem is. I think part of my problem is Kerbal Engineer assumes that I'm going to ditch this, which is not true because, that's just the way it works. By the way, we've completed a contract. We got a new orbital station around Minmus, which is awesome. We can't ditch this until we've orbited the sun. So let's go ahead and get our direction headed a little bit closer to the station here. Also, we are going to come in and dock on the station on the other side of where the other ship is with that docking port. And that's that docking port's entire purpose, is to get us a fuel connection to that station. So when we ditch this thing in solar orbit, we're no longer going to have that, but we have this one. And anything small enough to dock on here should have no problem docking to it. So let's go ahead and go to the station. This might be a kind of an interesting docking, so I'm gonna keep you here because I'm gonna show you how I set this thing up. There she is, a little bit farther away than she probably needs to be. So let's do a burn here that'll slow us down a little bit and also get our direction going a little bit towards her. There we go, 10 meters per second. And I can already tell that we want to be docking on this side of him because I can see the... There we go. I can see the ship I docked, the satellite that I had brought up. I docked him on that side, so I want him to dock on this side because it's the same size port. And I think I'm better off here just stopping right now. Looking at things backward, I should be watching the nav ball, not the nav HUD. Right now. Okay, we're basically stopped. Now, we want to come in this way. And I think it's time to activate this docking port. And then also, if I hit number 2 here, we switch our engines to these guys, which is the first cool thing about this ship. The first of many cool things. So now I'm going to get myself heading this direction here so that we're coming in on this side of the station. And the cool thing here is, if I wanna brake very quickly, I just have to hit the number 1 to activate those engines, and then I can hit them to brake. And I'm actually going to do that, so I don't have to flip this guy around. Hopefully we can get this docking done before... Yeah, see, the docking port here, these are juniors. They're too small. We need this docking port right here. We're going to set that as our target. And actually, we can use this here to figure out when to stop. Because when this docking port gets close to our target reticule, then we know that we're lined up on him. And then we can slow down to a stop here. There it is, and basically stopped now. Now I want to hit 2 to reactivate my other engines. I'm going to rotate myself here like this. I think I'm going to actually rotate myself like this so that we've got some sunlight on us. Whoa. And then we're going to... There's our direction vector. We don't ever want to be going more than a couple decimeters a second. That should be pretty much good. And we also don't have to be perfectly lined up. We just have to be close. There we go. 1 decimeter a second. That should be good. We're 39.x meters away. We are in no hurry here. We just want to make it easy on ourselves. And if at any point we want to stop, as I said, I just have to hit the number 1 and do it. I could also, in theory, and actually this is probably a good idea here, get this guy lined up like this. I can hit the number 3 and then use those guys to get myself going down a little bit. Now, I don't have any monoprop on this guy. Well, he has monoprop, but he doesn't have any monoprop engines. So I'm going to rotate him this way. To use his other engines. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do just a tiny little burn here of these engines. I'm moving this reticule down so it's directly opposite this guy. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my other engines. I think I'm going to speed up just a little bit, not too much. Go back to these engines, and I'm going to push this away just a little bit. We're down to 278 meters per second left. We're coming in fairly good. I think we're going to be fine. I don't think I need any more shenanigans here. We should have plenty of electric charge. We do. So even if our solar panels are crappy set up to the sun, we're fine. Because this guy needs the batteries to be drilling for a long time. And actually, the sun's about to set. Yeah, I think we're good. I do not want to come any faster. We're only 20 meters away, 19 actually. Starting to get a little bit off center here. Whoa. There we go. And I really cannot imagine he's not going to dock. I don't think there's any universe here where he doesn't dock and fill up his tanks. This guy, oh, we can't see his tanks from here because we're not on him. Okay, I'm going to stop aiming at the target and instead aim at him. As soon as we get a connection here... Oh, we've docked right away. That was easy. Okay, turning SAS off because we don't want this thing to shake itself apart. It's already full of fuel, which is awesome. We are ready to undock and get back to Kerbin now. You'll notice he has supplies here, and he's only used a couple of them. Like I said, he's got 10 years worth of supplies, so I'm not really worried about that. But these two guys need to undock and plan their ejection to Eve. I'll do that. Tell you what, I'll do it on camera with this guy. Although, let's get in the sun first. Okay, we're in the sun. Let's look at Minmus here. Okay, the sun is this way. So yeah, we are actually fairly poorly set up. We want actually Minmus to be over here when we eject from it. Because what we want is we want our periapsis around Kerbin to be right around here, so that when we burn at that periapsis, we launch off this way. Which means we want to leave Minmus when Minmus is over here, so that our orbit is like this. So this is where we want Minmus to be. Minmus's orbit is pretty much 50 days. So this here would be, we actually pretty much want 1/4, 3/4, I guess, right? We want to leave right around here, give or take, very close to. So 3/4 of 50 is, I don't know, 12.5 minus 50, 40, 37.5. Is that correct? 37.5 days? This would be 25, and then 12.5 is 37.5. Yes, I math good. So let's add a raw time alarm. So let's say 37 days from now. We're going to add an alarm to eject from Minmus, and then we'll probably just from there go right to Eve, because we'll be at the window. So I think this is actually going to turn out really, really well. Shockingly. So I will be back in 37 days. And my orbital station has gone kaput. I don't know what happened. I was time warping and I looked and it was gone, so I restored from a quick save where I had it, and I switched to it, and this is what I'm looking at. So I'm going to end the episode here. I'm going to throw my computer out the window, and when I go buy a new computer and install Kerbal Space Program on it, I will be back to do this mission. No, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. Probably involving HyperEdit. Hope you enjoyed watching this. I definitely enjoyed playing it. We will be launching to Eve next episode. We'll send all 3 of the ships somehow to Eve next episode. And I will, as always, talk at you later.